Hello again. My name is Ethan, and I've been playing guitar for over a year now. And like many self taught guitarists, I'm sure I had no idea what I was doing at the very start. Honestly, I still have no idea what I'm doing, but at the very least, I have learned some things, and I thought it might help somebody if I shared what I wish I knew at the beginning with the world. I don't know. So, the first thing I wish I knew at the very start was how important practicing in time or with time is. Like, I don't know how many times I've learned a song and like known all the notes of the song and then went to play along to that song and just it sounded horrible because my timing was so off because I hadn't practiced with some sort of timing device.
That's way off.
Whether that be like using a metronome to practice or playing along to recordings that are slowed down, it's like vitally important because otherwise, yeah, you will very possibly not be in time. Second thing is to slow things down until you can actually speed them up. Like, I'm still guilty of this to this day. So I'll learn a song and I'll be like, I think I got this. And then I'll just play along to the song at 100% speed and 0% accuracy. And that's just like a terrible way to practice. It's much better to play along. Oh my God, what are you doing? I'm trying to do something here. What are you doing? God, interrupting me. Like I was saying, I'm very guilty of playing along to a song at 100% speed and 0% accuracy, and it's a terrible way to practice. It's much better to play at 50% speed with 100% accuracy and then work your way up. Third tip is to record yourself. And there's two reasons for this. The first, for motivation. Like, it's really rewarding to hear you playing something from a week ago and it not sound particularly good, and then, hear your improvement over a week. Like, that's super motivating and rewarding. But the second reason is because if you're making mistakes or your timing is off in a certain part, you'll hear that in the recording, but maybe not in real time. So that's another reason to make sure you're like kind of sanity checking yourself with recordings, even if you have no desire to like post them or share them with anybody. It's just good for reference for yourself for those two reasons. So yeah, that's definitely, I think, like one of the most important things I found while I was learning, or as I've been learning guitar.
Before I continue, I have another thing that helped a lot that I seem to have forgotten to mention, and that's that if you're struggling with something specific, it's good to warm up before you actually start like playing with a drill that helps address what you're struggling with. Like, for example, sometimes I pick the wrong strings. Like, instead of, say I want to pick the D string and I accidentally pick the A string, or just like miss strings or like hit the wrong strings. So something I do before I start playing is I'll set a metronome up and I'll just up, down each string and rotate between all of them so I get like a feel of where all the strings are before I start playing. And that was just something I saw from a video that was like how to not pick the wrong strings, like do this. So yeah, if there's something you're struggling with, it's good to find videos and tips to help address those, like things to practice, and then warm up with those. That helped a lot. Something I'm struggling with right now is that I lift my fingers too far off the strings, so my fingers will be all over the place instead of being, close to the string, and it just creates sloppier playing. So what I've been doing before I start playing is I'll hook the metronome up, and I'll put my fingers real close to the strings, and I'll just try and fret them without moving my fingers up super high. And yeah, so there's things like that. You can also warm up, or at the beginning I was warming up a lot with Spider, what is it, Spider Walks? So that would really just help with like, I don't know, coordination. It's a good warm up. I don't really do that so much anymore. I probably should. Um, but yeah, it's just good to before you start. It's good to mindfully work on something you're struggling with before you start full playing. Um, and that definitely helped a lot too. If you're struggling with drumming, that's something you could work on before you start playing. But yeah, back to the other tips.
Then my last two tips aren't as big of a deal, but I still think are pretty important. That I wish I knew ahead of time. So the first of those tips, the fourth tip overall, is to spend more time noodling. Hey yo. And by that I mean if you're just doing nothing, lounging around, like just pick up your guitar and see what sounds come out of it. Like just play different notes and just do that when you're idly sitting there. It helps a lot. Like you'll find cool little riffs just naturally, and it's probably one of the best ways to learn the fretboard outside of, you know, researching music theory and reading about it, which admittedly I have not done and I should, but I have sat and watched a show or like a sporting event with my guitar in hand, and it's just fun to play around with, and it's a good way to learn. So my final tip is more psychology related and not like, you know, an actual like hardcore tip, but I still think it's pretty important, is to just keep in mind like comparison is a thief of joy. Um God, I don't know how many videos I've seen of other people playing guitar, and I've just been like, "Oh my god, how do they do that? How is that humanly possible?" And then like trying to recreate it, and just really just wanted to light all my guitars on fire and throw them out. Seeing things like other people doing XYZ is humbling and like discouraging at the same time. It's important to just keep in mind that everybody, you know, learns things at their own pace, and the only real comparison that has any value should be you comparing yourself to yourself from the past. Like if you just try to get better from yesterday till today, and then get better from today to tomorrow, instead of worrying about trying to be Santana in 2 weeks, because it's probably not going to happen. It might. You might be amazing, but it's probably not going to happen, and it'll just be super discouraging, and will not kindle the motivation like comparing yourself to yourself would. And even still, you might compare yourself to yourself and not be where you want to be, but that's okay. Progress is not always a linear path, and it's just important to just stay the course, and like you will be better. Like if you're not better this week or even this month, you'll be better next year's. The only thing that will prevent you from getting better is completely giving up. So yeah, I know it kind of turned into like a motivational thing at the end. I didn't want it to be that. That was not my intent, but I do think that is an important aspect of learning anything, and definitely learning an instrument, which you will suck at for a while. Believe me, I still suck. But I am better, definitely better than I was a year ago. And in like 5 years, I'll be really good, as long as I don't stop. So, yeah, I know I went on a tangent. I'm sorry. But in summary, metronome for timing, slow things down to learn them, record yourself for motivation and reference, spend more time noodling, and try not to compare yourselves to others. Those are the 5 things I wish I knew at the beginning, and like kind of need to remind myself of fairly frequently. So yeah, those are kind of general tips. Everything like in terms of technique and stuff, there's always a million YouTube videos for, like holding a pick, strumming fast, picking fast, finger picking. There's videos for all those things, and you'll know like what you need to work on. It'll just be something you're aware of. But those are kind of general tips that I think are important. If there's anything you think I've missed, and I'm sure there are general tips and advice I have missed, please let me know, because I want to learn. So yeah, hopefully this didn't go on for a million years, and hopefully it has some value to you if you've made it this far. And if you have, thanks. You should check out the other videos on my channel. And if not, have a good day. Yeah, I think that's it.